Welcome back, everybody, for another deep dive. This time we're taking a look at a company that's practically synonymous with success,
You know it.
Apple. We see the sleek devices, the devoted fans, and
Stock prices that just seem to keep going up.
exactly. But what's the real story behind their success? What makes them tick?
Well, we're going to try to uncover that today. We've got some in-depth analysis and strategic reconstructions
Oh, very cool. I like that.
of Apple's business model. How do they do what they do?
Awesome, because I think what intrigues me is it's not just about shiny gadgets, right? It's like they've cracked the code
Right?
of strategic thinking in a way that's led to this just massive success.
You got it.
So what can we learn from Apple?
A lot, actually, and it all starts with understanding how they think about strategy. They're not just winning in isolated areas. They've got this carefully orchestrated
I get it.
symphony of elements all working together.
Ooh, I like that. A symphony.
Yeah.
So what are like the key instruments in this strategic symphony?
Well, you got to start with their premium positioning. They've created a brand
Okay.
that people aspire to be a part of, right?
Yeah.
Then there's the ecosystem they've built, which keeps users happily locked in.
Yeah, makes sense.
And of course, you can't forget about the innovation,
Yeah, always pushing the boundaries.
always pushing the boundaries, generating excitement and anticipation that turns into,
Sales,
that's right.
premium positioning, ecosystem, innovation. We hear these buzzwords all the time, but like, how does Apple bring them to life?
Great question. So premium positioning. Apple products aren't just devices, they're status symbols, right?
I see what you mean.
Think about their ads, the sleek designs, the aspirational messaging.
Minimalist.
Exactly. It all screams exclusivity, and people are willing to pay top dollar to be a part of that.
It's like you're not just buying a phone, you're buying into an image, a lifestyle,
100%.
Yeah.
And that allows them to charge a premium for their products.
which then feeds back into their innovation.
Exactly. They've got higher profit margins, which allows them to invest heavily in research and development.
It's a cycle.
Yeah, it's like this beautiful cycle of innovation and profitability.
So they charge more, they can invest more, they make better products, they can charge more. I see it. But what about this ecosystem everyone's always talking about? Like, yeah, their devices work well together, but how does that create a true advantage over the competition?
Imagine a walled garden, but one that users actually want to stay in.
Okay, interesting.
You start with an iPhone, maybe you get an iPad, then you get AirPods and maybe an Apple Watch.
Suddenly you're in the Apple world.
Exactly. Your music, your photos, your files, everything just works together seamlessly across all your devices. It's so convenient.
It is, I'll give them that.
Right. And it makes it hard to leave.
Makes sense. So it's like a moat around their customers, keeping the competition at bay.
You got it. And the more users they have, the more valuable that ecosystem becomes, which attracts even more users.
Like a snowball effect.
Exactly. Plus, it allows them to upsell and cross-sell all these services, right?
Like Apple Music.
Apple Music, iCloud storage, Apple TV, plus all seamlessly integrated with the hardware.
Okay, that's a pretty powerful combination for sure. But we can't forget about the innovation. How does Apple manage to consistently push the boundaries of technology and, always seem to be ahead of the curve?
Their commitment to R&D is mind-blowing.
Yeah, billions of dollars, I'm sure.
Billions. Exploring new technologies, advanced chips, augmented reality, you name it. And they're not afraid to cannibalize their own products.
Oh, yeah. Like when they came out with the iPad, people thought it would kill the laptop.
Yeah, but they weren't afraid to create a new category, and it paid off big time.
Huge. And like the Apple Watch, nobody knew what to make of it at first, but now everybody's got one.
They don't just iterate on existing products, they create completely new ones. It generates a level of excitement that's unmatched.
You see people lining up for days to get the latest iPhone.
It's true.
It's like a cultural event.
It is, and that excitement translates into sales.
No doubt. But it's not just about the bells and whistles, is it? It feels like there's a deeper level of innovation at play here.
Absolutely. Apple's not just adding features for the sake of it. They're focused on solving user needs and creating products that seamlessly integrate into our lives.
Okay, yeah.
Think about the design of their user interfaces, the focus on accessibility. It's all about simplicity and ease of use.
Yeah, even my grandma can pick up an iPad and figure it out.
See? They've cracked the code on making technology feel human.
It's like they're not just building devices, they're crafting experiences.
Exactly. And that's a key differentiator. It builds brand loyalty and creates this positive word of mouth.
That's huge.
It's a massive part of their long-term success.
Okay, so we've got premium positioning, a sticky ecosystem, and a relentless focus on innovation. Are those the core ingredients of Apple's secret sauce?
They're definitely crucial. But there's another piece of the puzzle that often gets overlooked, something that's absolutely essential for a company producing millions of devices worldwide.
Okay, you've got me intrigued.
Okay.
What is it?
It's their mastery of the supply chain.
What's the supply chain?
Mm.
Isn't that just like the boring back-end stuff?
You'd be surprised. Apple's supply chain is anything but boring. It's a finely tuned machine that allows them to churn out these high-quality products at scale and make sure they get delivered on time and are available everywhere.
Okay, I can see how that would be important, but like, paint me a picture. Why is this such a big deal for Apple?
Imagine you're launching a new iPhone, right?
Okay.
You need millions of units ready to go on day one, all with the same level of quality and precision.
Yeah, that's a tall order.
It's a huge undertaking. It requires this globally coordinated effort, sourcing components from all over the place, managing manufacturing partners, and orchestrating this massive logistics network.
Sounds complicated.
It's a complex dance, but they've got it down to a science.
So how do they pull it off?
Well, they've invested heavily in building strong relationships with their suppliers. They negotiate favorable contracts, and they have super strict quality control measures in place.
Makes sense.
Plus, they understand global logistics like nobody else. Optimizing shipping routes, warehousing facilities to minimize costs and maximize efficiency.
So it's not just about getting the cheapest parts, it's about managing the entire process from start to finish.
Exactly. And that gives them a huge edge over their competitors. They can ramp up production quickly to meet demand.
Yeah.
They can adjust if there are any supply chain disruptions. And they maintain really tight control over the quality of their products.
All while keeping costs in check, right?
You got it. It's like their secret weapon.
The unsung hero of Apple's success. Okay, so we've talked about premium positioning, the ecosystem, innovation, and now the supply chain. It's all starting to come together.
Right.
But what about data? Everyone collects data these days, right?
Right, but it's not just about collecting data. It's about how you use it.
To create better experiences for your customers.
You got it. Remember the walled garden we talked about? That gives them a ton of information about how people actually use their devices.
So they know what apps we're using, what music we're listening to.
They see what websites we visit, all of that. And they use that data to personalize recommendations, improve search results, and even anticipate our needs before we even know we have them.
It's like having a personal assistant who knows you better than you know yourself. That's kind of creepy.
I know, right? But it's all in the service of creating a better experience.
Okay.
And Apple is really big on privacy, so they make sure all that data is anonymized and securely stored.
Well, that makes me feel a little bit better.
And they've introduced things like app tracking transparency.
Right. That gives users more control over their data.
Exactly. So you can choose what you share and with whom.
Okay. So they're trying to strike a balance between personalization and privacy, which is a tough thing to do these days.
It's a real challenge, but it's something they take very seriously. And it's actually become a selling point for them, you know.
I can see that people are more concerned about privacy than ever.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So by being upfront about their data practices, Apple is differentiating themselves from competitors who might not be as transparent.
Smart. It's like their commitment to privacy has become part of their brand.
It all feeds into that sense of trust and exclusivity that we talked about.
Okay, so we've got premium positioning, ecosystem innovation, supply chain, and data. It's a pretty impressive package. But it seems like Apple's not content to just sit back and relax. They're always pushing into new areas.
They're always looking for the next big thing.
Like with the Apple Watch.
The Apple Watch was a huge success.
It was. And now they're making big investments in things like augmented reality.
Artificial intelligence, self-driving cars, who knows what they'll come up with next.
Self-driving cars, now that's ambitious.
They're not afraid to take risks and disrupt entire industries.
They're definitely playing the long game. It's like they have this insatiable appetite for innovation and growth.
They just keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that comes from their company culture. They've created an environment where innovation is encouraged and celebrated.
You're right. It's part of their DNA. They're constantly looking for ways to improve and invent new things.
That's a powerful thing.
Right.
And they don't just rely on internal innovation, right?
Nope. They're also not afraid to go out and acquire companies that have cutting-edge technology or talent that they need.
Smart. Like buying their way into the future.
It's a savvy strategy.
Can you give me some examples?
Sure. Think about their acquisition of Beats Electronics.
Oh, yeah. The headphones?
Right. They got a popular brand, but they also got a talented team of audio engineers and all these music industry connections.
That's a good point. Sometimes it's not just about the product itself. It's about the people and the expertise that come with it.
Right. And don't forget about Siri. They acquired the company that developed that voice assistant technology.
Which is now on, like, every Apple device?
It's everywhere.
Okay.
So they're not just building everything from scratch. They're strategically acquiring companies that can help them accelerate their innovation.
And get a foothold in new markets.
Exactly. It's a smart way to grow.
Okay, so we've talked about a lot of different factors.
Yeah.
But I keep coming back to the customer experience. It feels like that's the glue that holds everything together.
You're right on the money. It's all about creating this holistic ecosystem where every touch point is designed to delight and inspire.
So it's not just about selling products, it's about selling an experience.
100%. And they've carefully crafted this experience, from the design of their stores to the way their website works to the personalized recommendations you get in Apple Music.
Right. It's like they're anticipating your every need.
Exactly. It all makes the customer feel valued and understood.
Like they're part of something special.
Exactly.
It's brilliant. I'm starting to see how all these pieces fit together. It's like a giant puzzle.
It is.
Premium positioning, ecosystem, innovation, supply chain, data, acquisitions. They all contribute to the overall picture of Apple's success.
You nailed it. It's not about any one element in isolation. It's how they all work together to create this unstoppable force.
It's a symphony.
It is a symphony of strategy.
And that's a lesson that any business can learn from, right?
Absolutely. Whether you're selling smartphones or shoes, the principles are the same.
I like that. So what are some of the key takeaways you'd like our listeners to remember from this deep dive into Apple?
I think the biggest one is that there's no magic bullet. It's about having a holistic strategy with all these different elements working together.
Like a well-oiled machine.
Exactly. Now, obviously, not every business can replicate Apple exactly.
Of course.
But there are still valuable lessons we can all learn from them.
Do you elaborate on that? What are some things that our listeners can take away and apply to their own businesses?
Sure. First off, obsess over the customer experience.
Make them happy.
More than happy. Delight them. Think about every interaction they have with your brand. How can you make it memorable? How can you make it more personal?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Second, build a brand that resonates. Don't just focus on selling stuff. Think about what your brand stands for. What are your values? What kind of community are you trying to build?
I like that.
Third, innovate relentlessly. Don't get complacent. The world is changing fast.
The tech world especially.
You got to stay ahead of the curve. Invest in R&D, explore new technologies. Don't be afraid to take risks.
Be like Apple.
Be like Apple. Fourth, master your supply chain. In today's globalized world, you got to have a tight grip on your supply chain.
From start to finish.
Build those relationships with your suppliers. Optimize your logistics. Make sure the quality is top-notch at every stage.
Yeah, if you can't get the product to the customer, it doesn't matter how good it is.
Exactly. And finally, use data wisely. Data can be incredibly powerful.
Yeah, we've seen that.
It can help you understand your customers, personalize their experiences, and improve your products. But you got to use it responsibly.
Privacy is paramount.
It's key. Be transparent about your data practices and build trust with your customers.
Okay, those are some fantastic takeaways.
Yeah.
It's clear that Apple's success is no accident.
They've built an incredible system for growth and innovation. It's really something to admire.
It is, and while they've got their challenges like any company, their strategic approach has really set them up for success.
Absolutely.
This has been a fascinating deep dive into the world of Apple. Thanks for sharing your expertise with us.
It's been a pleasure. I always enjoy taking a closer look at successful companies and figuring out what makes them tick.
Yeah, there's always something to learn.
Always.
So for our listeners out there, remember, Apple's journey offers valuable lessons for any business looking to achieve long-term success.
Understanding your target audience, delivering exceptional experiences, and constantly innovating are key.
Absolutely. And speaking of innovation, if you're looking to shake things up in your own business, to fix your struggling business, reach out to Acquisition Pro. And remember, Acquisition Pro is the place to go for strategy and innovation.
Can't argue with that.
That's all the time we have for today, folks. Thanks for joining us on the Deep Dive. We'll see you next time.